Hey, how you doing? It's Clayton here from howtodrawcomics.net and buttonbrowstudios.com, and I'm here today for another howtodrawcomics.net live stream. I know it's kind of crazy streaming multiple times in the 1 week, as Micra has mentioned here in the live chat. Well, I know it's kind of crazy, but I'm feeling a little bit inspired. And actually, the reason as to why I've been streaming a little bit more lately, it's kind of connected to the topic of this live stream that I'm about to get into. Firstly, I want to say a big hello to everybody tuning in right now. And just remind you that the new workshop I've just launched, Character Creator, where I'll be showing you in depth and detail my exact character creation workflow live and in real time. Yeah, that's right. This isn't just a course. The Character Creator Workshop is a live, interactive learning experience where you can see me go through the process, but also follow along, ask questions along the way. In fact, I'm going to be dedicating an entire day of this workshop just to you. I'm going to be showing you the exact areas of improvement that you can make, the areas that are specific to you that are going to allow you to cut your learning curve in half and make maximum progress, possibly more progress than you would have made in months and years of doing this stuff. Because having somebody with experience to look over your work and tell you exactly what it is you need to focus on in order to make the most amount of progress, well, that's just invaluable. And that's probably what separates the Character Creator Workshop from any other character creation learning program out there. Obviously, it gets into fundamentals, it gets into design, it gets into the technical aspects of from start to finish how you sketch out the concept of your character, clean it up, give it that slick, sharp, and refined line work that we love to see in energetic comic book art. And then, of course, how to add in the details, place down some rendering, and really turn it into something that looks professional, something that you could use in a portfolio or simply to post online, get some likes and comments, or to use in an actual comic book that you might be thinking of working on. Whatever reason it is, whatever's motivating you to be the best possible character artist that you can be, you're going to be able to find it within this workshop. You're going to have that motivation satisfied. You're going to have the, I would say that you're going to have the accountability. I mean, that's one of the most amazing things about this workshop because it's live. You're going to be compelled to just show up there and actually do the work. I can't sit 5 minutes through a course these days. I just don't have the attention span anymore, unfortunately. I used to, but I don't anymore. The cool thing about something like this workshop is that it's scheduled in for you. You rock up, you're with nine other equally motivated students, and you're all there for the same reason to polish up on your character creation skill set. You're going to through it together. You're going to be listening to every single minute, watching every single second of the demonstration. You're going to see exactly how it's done. And the best part about it is you're going to be doing it too. And when you run into trouble, when you're facing obstacles that you just can't get past, you're going to have yours truly there to help you out. So, that's my little plug for the character creation workshop out of the way. The reason that I bring it up right now is because, listen, if this is something that you feel would actually get you to the next level, if drawing characters and being good at it is something that is dear to your heart, something that you care about, there is only 4 spots left in this workshop. Okay, they're almost taken up. And once they are, you're not going to be able to get in. Okay, you're not going to get the 50% discount that I'm offering on the landing page right now. There's a link to it in the description below and pinned to the chat right here. You're also going to be getting 3 special bonuses too. So I'm really giving you an irresistible offer here. If you're hesitating, and I understand your hesitation, just make sure you don't wait too long, because there's a very good chance that possibly by the end of the day, by the end of tomorrow, and most certainly by the end of the week, it's going to be too late to get in on this thing. So that said, let's jump in to the topic of today's live stream. Welcome to all the new people who have just tuned in to today's show. It's great to see you here. We've got Michael E. Welcome. It's great to see you here. I'm glad you can make it. We have Micra. Micra says, well, he says what I already addressed before. Okay. Michael. Cool. How you doing? All right, Micra and Michael. Thanks so much for jumping in the chat there. By the way, everyone else who is watching right now, leave your questions and your comments in the live chat. I'm here. I'm with you right now. So you can ask me anything you want, whether it's about the character creator workshop or the topic of today's little chit chat that we're about to have. So what are we talking about? Well, as you can probably tell from the title, we're talking about forgetting your feelings and your thoughts, forgetting about whatever state it is you think you're in that's stopping you from actually getting to work and creating some kick-ass drawings. It's called procrastination. Procrastination can rear its ugly little head in a number of different ways, a number of insidious ways, in fact. It kind of pretends like it's not there at first because it feeds you very appealing excuses as to why it's not a good idea to draw at this specific moment in time. Oh, yeah, you'll get to it, but you rationalize your way into any reason as to why you're going to put it off. Maybe you'll draw after you've had this coffee right here. Here we go. Or you'll just give yourself a moment to wake up and get into it, or you'll just check this email, jump onto Facebook for a little bit, watch some YouTube videos, and before you know it, half the day is gone. Time to go for a walk, time to clear your head. Surely that'll help. And then it's dinner time, and the whole day has passed you by. You haven't gotten anything done that you actually wanted to get done in regards to your art. I mean, can you relate with that? And it's not through any fault of your own. You're not just you're just not in the mood for it. You're just not feeling it. You're not in a creative zone. Uh, you're not feeling good about something that you should feel good about. I mean, why is it this thing that you say you're so passionate about, something that is so dear to your heart, why is it that it's so hard to actually execute on it? Well, it's because sometimes, especially when it comes to the things that we care about, we build them up inside our head first. I mean, maybe it's that next illustration that you're going to kick out there, show people on the internet, you're going to showcase in your portfolio or your website. And you know it's going to be amazing. You know it's going to be awesome. But for some reason, it's so difficult for you to make a start on it. Why is that? Well, it's because it's so epic inside your mind. That's kind of intimidating. It's intimidating to actually put lead to paper after that. You start to question yourself whether or not you'll actually be able to meet your own expectations, whether what you're able to do in reality is going to measure up to that grand vision you've created in your head. And so you find every excuse under the sun to put it off. Okay, this is one of the reasons, at least, as to why procrastination comes about. And I'm sure you can relate with it. But it honestly doesn't matter what the reason is. It doesn't matter what excuse you give yourself to not get started. And at the end of the day, any underlying issue that you're having that's preventing you from moving forward, stopping you from making progress, that doesn't matter either. Okay, it could be that you built up the vision too big. It could just be that you're lazy. It could be that you're genuinely tired. It might be that you're hungry. Maybe you feel like you haven't let loose in a while and you deserve a break. It could be any reason, but none of it matters. Okay, your feelings don't actually matter. They're not tangible. They're not a beautiful artwork that you can hold at the end of a hard day of dedication. That's what matters. That's real. That's something that you put your time and energy into, and you can see something for it, a return on your investment. How much time do we waste on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, playing video games, messing around on our phones? It's not hard for an entire day or week to just slip away because we're not in the mood to do the thing that we claim we want to do that we don't really feel like doing at the time. It's hard. It's scary. There's mistakes that are going to happen. Things will probably go wrong. It's not exactly the most appetizing activity that you could sink your teeth into sometimes, the old comic book art. And yet, it is the path we've chosen. And we know beyond a doubt, there is no question that it matters. It matters dearly to us. It is the right thing to do beyond all else. It's what we should be doing. It is our mission in life. And if we're not doing it, then even if you're not conscious of it at the time, on a subconscious level, you know that you're betraying yourself. You know that you're not living up to your full potential. So then how do we counter this? Okay, if our feelings don't matter, how do we detach ourselves from them? At least to the extent where we're actually able to put our artwork first. Put it first before what it is we think we want in the moment. And that's the thing, we have to start thinking long term. We have to start thinking about what is it that really matters to us? Because what really matters to us is oftentimes not fun at all. It's important and it's meaningful, but it takes sacrifice. You might think about being on a diet, for example, a healthy diet that keeps you feeling good and full of energy. It's difficult to stick to that. Or hitting the gym, keep a strong body. It matters, it's important, but it's difficult to do. It could be any passion out there that anybody pursues, whether it's an athlete, professional video gamer, YouTube creator, artist, movie maker, acting, music producer, whatever it is that is going to yield the greatest result, make the biggest impact, it's going to be hard to do. At times, it's going to be torturous. You will have to go through many trials and tribulations to earn the satisfaction of building something from nothing or becoming something exceptional. There's a lot of mediocrity out there. And the reason that very few manage to ascend beyond it, to play on a much higher plane, is because most of us are either apathetic, unwilling to put in the effort, or just plain damn lazy. I'm a lazy dude sometimes too. In fact, if here's the thing is that procrastination is just a bad habit. Okay, not feeling like doing your art, it's habitual. And the more you do it, the more difficult it becomes to pull yourself out of it. Every single time you procrastinate, every single time you put it off, there's a greater chance that you're going to put it off the next time around. So you've got to break the habit. And that's much easier said than done. If it, habits were easy to break, we wouldn't have such a thing as habits in the first place. Habits are something that are so difficult to stop doing that we repeatedly do them on a constant basis. Now, if it's a good habit, then that's not such a bad thing. If it's a bad habit that's stopping us from reaching our full potential in life, in what it is we're most passionate about, then it is a detriment to our very existence. Because if you constantly give into those bad habits, procrastination, living a life that is below you, you're going to ultimately get to the end of it. You'll be laying on your deathbed full of regret. That is the worst thing that you could possibly witness, is that look of regret in somebody's time who has passed, or that has passed. Because they can't go back. It's too late at that point. You've got the opportunity right now to reroute, to do things differently, make better decisions for yourself, to ignore your feelings, ignore the thoughts in your head that are spawned from those feelings, or vice versa, and simply take what's called right action. In other words, it's doing the right thing regardless of whether or not you want to do it. It's doing the thing you know you should be doing no matter how you feel about it, no matter what's happening around you, no matter what excuses are thrown at you or you're coming up with on your own. It's putting the action as your top priority. And then here's what's going to happen. Something magical happens at that point. It's quite incredible. Action leads thought. Action leads feeling. Isn't that interesting that we can flip the script here? Right now, it might be that your feelings and your thoughts are leading your actions, but you may not have known this until right now that your actions, when you start putting them first, begin to lead your feelings and your thoughts. Let's say for a moment that you're going to take the leap here, that no matter how you're feeling right now, you're going to pick up the pencil, even while you're watching this stream, you can still listen. You're going to pick up the pencil and you're going to start drawing something. Here's what's going to happen, regardless of how you feel about it. If you just take that action, all of a sudden, your mind is going to align with that action. You're going to start feeling good because being productive always feels good. There's a positive feeling associated with productivity because it gives us a little burst of dopamine to make progress. And so you're going to be full of good feelings, good chemicals within your body. So that's great. Beautiful reinforcement for a positive habit that may, with repetition, begin to entrench itself and lead you to better results, more desirable outcomes. So you're drawing, you're taking action, you're feeling good about it. What kind of thoughts start running through your head? Well, your imagination all of a sudden starts running wild about how exciting it's going to be to actually get this thing done. You start contemplating what it will be, how it will turn out, or either that or you're really engaged with the activity. All of a sudden, your attention isn't about how much you don't want to do it or how fatigued you feel. All of a sudden, your brain, every single thought you're having is on strategically executing the maneuvers you need to make to create a good illustration. It's on spotting out the mistakes, the micro mistakes and the large mishaps that you've made along the way, and then figuring out solutions for those mistakes, better plays, better outcomes for that illustration. So now your mind and your feelings are aligned with your action. It's difficult to take action when you don't feel like doing it. But if you can do it, then everything else becomes so much easier. This is the reason you often hear people say, hey, the most difficult part was just getting started, or whatever activity it was that they were trying to get into, which is kind of incredible. And as I said, just like bad habits can become entrenched, good habits can too. The way in which you create a habit is by repeating it enough times that eventually it becomes uncomfortable not to do it. So you can use the same strategy for anything you want to accomplish in life. Yes, we're artists and we're talking about drawing here. And in that realm, if you want to get that comic book done that's been just lagging in terms of progress, well, you can sit down right now and start working on it. And guess what? It's going to be smooth sailing as far as your feelings and your thoughts and your actions being aligned. If you just do it, if you sit down and you start making it happen. And you could do that every single day and make progress on that comic book or whatever project it is that is dear and close to your heart. You can work on it now every day. You've got the strategy to do it. You've just got to take action. And here's the thing. You might say, well, Clayton, taking action is too much of a big step, a big leap for me. Well, it depends. Maybe you can mess with yourself a little bit. Maybe you could say, well, instead of spending the entire day working on this comic book or this illustration, I'll promise myself that I'll work 5 minutes on it. And as long as I can work 5 minutes on it, then I can do whatever I want with the rest of the day. As long as I have genuinely worked and submersed myself in this activity, which is going to get me closer to my end goal for 5 minutes. Little promise. You've made a little promise to yourself, and it's not something that's intimidating. It's not something that's scary. And if it doesn't work out, it's not really going to have any massive implications. So you can make this promise to yourself. It's just like saying to yourself, look, as long as I go to the gym, that's all that matters. If I get to the gym and I want to come home, so be it. You work 5 minutes on this thing, on your comic book page, your illustration, your character design. And guess what happens? The 5 minutes passes. And you forget that you're still working on this thing. You're working on it for 10 minutes, 30 minutes. After a while, hours are just slipping away. You're completely engrossed, immersed in that activity now. Why? Because your brain and your heart aligned with your actions within 5 minutes. That's all it took. This is what happens. It's very, very quick. And it's extremely easy if you use these strategies. Make yourself little promises, okay? Don't make it some big, wild, crazy maneuver that you're about to undertake. Just make it a little promise. And if it's a little promise that you can fulfill, literally say that. Can you work 5 minutes? Can you work 5 minutes on the thing that you say that you love, doing more than anything else? Can you do it? Well, if the answer is yes, then work on it for 5 minutes and watch what happens. It's crazy. Just try this. Just trust me and try it. You're not going to lose. There's nothing to lose here. Just try it out. Okay, let's take a look at some of the comments over here. See if you guys can resonate with what it is I'm talking about. Because this is something that we all suffer from. We've all battle with procrastination, with laziness, with apathy, with burnout. But we're all human beings, and us human beings have natural mechanisms that we can take advantage of and manipulate in order to rig the system for success. This stream, for example, I didn't feel like doing it, but I did it anyway. Why? Because I scheduled it in there. And that's another little strategy I'll give you, by the way. So we talked about just working on it for 5 minutes, making yourself little promises. Well, here's the other secret to just getting started on something, just getting it done if it needs to get done. Many of you know that I make comic books, I do commissions, I also make courses, and I do this thing, which is live streaming more recently on a regular basis. Now, oftentimes those things need to get done, but I don't want to do them. I can make myself little promises, but maybe I'm not even in the mood to do that. Now I need to figure out a way to force myself. Some people ask other people, people that they trust, to hold them accountable. For example, I might say to Corey, listen, Corey, I'm going to give you this $200 and I want you to hang on to it until the end of the week. And if by the end of the week I haven't completed this illustration that I've been working on, you get to keep the $200. I don't get that back. If I have completed it, then I do get the $200 back. So that's called that's positive and negative reinforcement, mostly negative. You're punishing yourself if you don't get it done in that capacity. You could also reward yourself. Maybe you'll say to yourself, listen, if I get this illustration done, I'm going to treat myself to a brand new Dragon Ball Z action figure. Or I'm going to treat myself to a movie or dinner or a new video game, whatever it is. Okay, that's positive reinforcement. Positive, negative, reward, punishment, and you can combine the two, of course. But what I've found works for me, and of course, just getting started works for me. It works for me very well. But the other thing that really works for me that you probably haven't necessarily heard of before, because you've likely heard of accountability. Well, I'm going to talk about a little bit of a different accountability here. Let's say, for example, that you're working on a comic book and you're just not making headway. You're trying all the suggestions that I've made thus far, and it's not helping. Do this. Set up a live stream on your channel, on your YouTube channel. And if you don't have a YouTube channel, either create a YouTube channel or start streaming directly to your Facebook page or to your Instagram account or to Twitter, whichever social media you're on, and I assume you are on one of them. Create a live stream to that social media. And even if you don't have a large following, schedule it in there for a particular time. And the brilliant thing about this is that means you're going to show up at that time. And it's not like you're going to go live and do nothing, just sit there like a dork. You're actually going to go ahead and you're going to start drawing in front of them. Okay. So in the title, you tell them that it's going to be a live drawing stream. So the stage is set. We know what's going to be happening. They're coming up. They're coming to tune in to your video, even if it's just one other person tuning into your video, and they're expecting to see you draw. Okay, you scheduled it in. You scheduled it in for a particular time. If doing it too soon is just too scary for you to think about, then do it a couple hours from now. Let's say you're going to do it 4 hours from now. You schedule it in there, drawing stream. Here we go. Clock ticks around, and boom, you're live. Again, you're not going to sit there and do nothing. You're going to do what it was you promised because, well, all of a sudden now you've got an audience. What's the alternative? You're going to embarrass yourself? Are you going to let them down, disappoint them? Are you a liar? Nobody wants to be any of those things, trust me. Okay, so this is a whole other level of accountability. This is holding yourself accountable to your audience, arguably the world. I mean, anyone could be tuning in to this thing that you have promised. So when it comes to me, I knew today that I want to keep this live stream thing going. So I knew today that I needed to do one. So I scheduled it in. It was as simple as that. I picked a topic to talk about, and now I'm here at the time I scheduled it in, talking about the topic that I said I was going to talk about. What other choice is there? It doesn't matter how badly it goes. It doesn't matter how much I screw up along the way. I'm here and I'm doing it, which means I'm performing. You have to perform if you create a live stream. So create a live stream. Anyone can do this, and it is going to hold you accountable. Just try it. I do this. I can't create courses anymore on my own. I have to have an audience. Otherwise, it never gets done. I overthink it. I become too much of a perfectionist. I need students to teach this stuff to in order to be able to create effective lessons. And you know what happens? I say, hey, to the How to Draw Comics Inner Circle, which you, by the way, can get access to in the Character Creator Workshop right now when you sign up. Book in for 50% off. It's quite a good deal. But you'll get access to the How to Draw Comics Inner Circle when you do that. And I might say, hey guys, we're going to do a 2-hour training on gesture drawing. Just taking that step, okay, just setting up the live class for that time and that topic. I'm going to be there, and I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm going to need to make it happen. There's no other choice. I've forced myself to do it now. And the cool thing about this is you look like an idiot if you don't fulfill on your promise, but you also get rewarded because if everything runs smoothly, you do what you say you're going to do, you end up with, well, in my case, I end up with a new lesson, a new class that I can either post on YouTube or sell as a product. Here, doing this live stream with you right now, I end up with, well, a stronger connection between me and you. I end up with an audience that is that much more loyal, that feels good because I've given them value. Who doesn't want that? Okay, I've created content that is on my YouTube channel now that is going to stay there and keep on delivering value. I can use it for a podcast episode. I can use it as a voiceover for a drawing demo. It's done though. I'm doing it right now. I don't have to sit there and think about it. I scheduled it in, chose the topic, and now it's happening. So try that as well. You've got 3 different opportunities here to get to work, 3 different strategies that if you put them into play, try them out. They might work for you, they might not. But if you at least put them into play, you're going to see whether or not they work. And hopefully one of them will. And you'll start to see massive results. You'll create massive amounts of progress, and no longer will your laziness, procrastination, your thoughts and your feelings have dominion over what it is you actually want to achieve in your life, dominion over your dreams. Dreams are hard, man. If you're going to let feelings and thoughts get in the way, good luck fulfilling them. It's never going to happen. No way. You're going to have to earn it. You're going to have to do the things you don't want to do every day for a very long time. So you better figure out a way to force yourself to do them if they're worth doing. If they're not worth doing, man, do something else. If whatever it is you're trying to do isn't worth doing and it doesn't matter to you, then it's pointless doing it. Find something that does actually mean something. So you've got someone who can hold you accountable, punish you if you don't do the work, give them a couple $100. They get to keep it if you don't fulfill on what it is you said you were going to do that week. Next strategy is to just make a small promise to yourself. Okay, say to yourself, you know what? I'm just going to work 5 minutes on this thing, whatever it is. 5 minutes. And that's all that I'm obligated to do. That's all I'm promising myself that I'm going to do. And just watch. Because what's going to happen, very, very likely, that 5 minutes is going to pass on by. You'll be there for 10 minutes and you will continue working on that thing just because now you're in the zone, baby. You're in your groove. And then finally, this is my favorite tactic. Start a live stream. Or, I don't know, if you're not into live streaming, then go somewhere where you've got an audience that you have to perform in front of, whether it's real or virtual. Pick the topic, drawing demo. Character creation demonstration. Watch me work on my comic book. Set it for the time, and then boom, you're going live in front of people. You're going to feel the same way about performing in front of 2 people as you will about performing in front of 100 people when it comes to the internet. Trust me. Try them out, see how they work for you, and hopefully you'll reap what you sow, my friends. Let's take a look at the comments here. This is great. Melanated Thinker says this is painfully relatable. Oh, you know it is. You know why it's relatable? Because I go through this stuff as well. We all we're all on the same boat together, guys. Misery loves company, but we got to do something about it at some point in order to progress forward, in order to reach our epitome, to make our greatest ambitions in life, the things that will be remembered long after we are gone. We need to do what it takes. That's what gives us meaning. Otherwise, we're just breathing air, man. Just watching the seconds tick by, the years slip away, and by the end, we're not going to have anything to show for it if we don't do something now. It's just about those little actions that you take each and every single day that yield the biggest returns, to make the biggest difference. Hey, Rumbleroo Comics, it's good to see you here. Michael E says, I can relate, but usually I'm drawing other things, pin-ups and such, instead of getting started or finishing sequentials. Same deal. You can apply this to anything. If you're a professional race car driver, listen, as fun as that sounds, it's hard work in order to get to an elite level of anything. This works for all of that. If you have something that requires any level of specialization, or just requires a semblance of effort and will, it could be something boring. It could be mowing the backyard. Ugh, hate mowing the backyard. But if it needs to get done, you can use this. Make small promises to yourself. That's probably the best strategy. You can't really stream yourself mowing the backyard without without quite the setup, I would imagine. So make a small promise to yourself. You know, an example for that would be, I'm only going to mow half the yard, or I'm only going to spend 15 minutes mowing today. That's all I'm going to do. And you'll get it all done. Unhinged Jason, what's going on, my friend? I think he's talking to me. He says on the bee's knees. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. John DeVoiced says, I agree. Sometimes the hardest part of drawing is picking up the pencil. It really, really is. So if we know that that's the hardest part, if we know that's the determiner as to whether or not anything gets done, then it's really the picking up of the pencil that we've got to solve here. That's what we've got to try and talk ourselves into doing. So it's knowing where these problems begin, diagnosing the issue for what it is. You've got to get in deep, find its core, tinker away until you've got it figured and everything else flows smoothly. It's like a machine. Okay, what bolts need to be tightened in order for it to run properly? Because if you can figure out that one thing that causes the rest to just flow as it should, then you're all set. Hey, what's going on, B.A. Turner? Good to see you there, my friend. Always a pleasure. Melanated Thinker says, that's honestly what It is self-betrayal and sabotage. That's exactly what it is. Don't betray yourself. There's things that matter to you in life, things that are meaningful. Don't take those things away from you. Don't stop yourself from fulfilling on them. You owe yourself more than that. Anything that's not difficult to do probably isn't worth doing. It probably has no value if it requires no effort. Yeah, man, I'm dropping gold here. Extremely valuable advice, says Gianluca. Hey, you're welcome. But advice is just words unless you use it. So actually use this stuff. I would challenge you today, even if it's late at night for you, for those of you in the US, I would challenge you after this stream or even during this stream, just draw for 5 minutes. Do something that is worthwhile, worthy of you for 5 minutes. See what happens. You'll thank me and you'll thank yourself for doing it. You'll have something to show for it. That's all that matters, is having to show something, having something to show by the end of the day to yourself, something that you did, something that you created, so that the day you just lived didn't just pass by. The day you just lived, it wouldn't have mattered if you existed or not, but actually it does, because you've produced something, you brought something else into the world. Uh, the artist and times of the art and times of Jay Ryan says, pick up the phone right now. Artist helpline. Tell me about it. Crazy Mad says, you're all right sometimes, Clayton. Wow, that is high praise coming from Crazy Mad. High praise indeed. NTM Comics, good to see you here. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're kicking some butt on your comic book. Uh, a young creator here who's very, very motivated, extremely driven, and one that I had no doubt is going to see some serious success later on in life. Well, some serious success very soon, in fact, I would say, just by the rate at which he's going. NTM Comics says, I just tell myself at the top of my lungs, they don't know me, son. And then I draw the greatest comic of all time. 100%. You have to ask yourself, if you were a Saiyan, would you just give up? When you were beaten down, would you stay down? Or would you get stronger? Would you be more equipped to battle the big bosses that stand before you? Crazy Mad says, Noah has to meet a girl first to become a father. Yes. Indeed. All right. Crazy Mad and Noah are having a great time in the chat now, arguing about, it sounds like Noah's love life. Wonderful. Great non topic. Rumbleroo Comics says, it's also good not to go too long. Leave something for you to do the next day. For sure. Absolutely, it is. Get started, it's difficult to stop. It really is. But you do have to balance this stuff out. It's dangerous what I'm telling you, man. I mean, once you get started, if you keep going too long and you burn yourself out, well, that is a very difficult place to progress past. Because what happens then is that feelings and mind, they're taken out of the equation. Okay, action leads nowhere. You're just feeling empty when you're burnt out. So a lot of these strategies won't work at that point. So as fun as it is to keep that momentum going, when you start it, when you've figured out what it is that gets you putting lead to paper, Make sure you take it easy. Make sure you give yourself breaks. Go for a walk. By the way, going for a walk, clearing your head, another great tactic for resetting yourself and getting your head where it needs to be in order to do some work. But yeah, avoid burnout at all costs if you can. Okay, it's something that a lot of artists experience, a lot of creators experience, but they're just driving themselves into the ground, grinding constantly. There is a happy sweet spot. Momentum can go in either way. It can cause you to overwork and completely end up burning out, or it can cause you to become lazy if it goes back the other way. You want to try to find that sweet spot. Like many truths in life, they reside within the gray area. Okay, it's neither here nor there. We're not talking about polar opposites here. We want to find that nice sweet spot. And if you want to accelerate toward the productivity, then by all means do that. Just look after yourself. Okay. Keep in mind that there's other aspects of your life that need to be considered in order for you to do your best work. Things like sleep, things like just general all round health, things like your diet, things like making sure that you set aside time for play, whether it's watching a movie or playing a video game, rewarding yourself after a giant success. I mean, the thing is that I would say paying too much attention to your successes can be just as bad as well as paying too much attention to your losses. Really, neither of those should leave too much of a big impression on you because if you're feeling really great about a massive success that you've just accomplished, and you're like, "Yeah, man, I'm the shit right now. Like, damn, I can't believe what I've just pulled off. It's amazing." The thing is that ramps up your expectation of what needs to happen next time in order for you to shape up and live up to what you accomplished last time. Where does that lead? Leads to intimidation, reluctance to delve into the next thing. So, if you see success and you do really, really well, awesome. Pat yourself on the back. Feel good about it. Hey, great. I'm glad it worked out. That's usually my reaction when things go right. Mate, great. Cool. I don't have to stress too much anymore. Awesome. And then I jump into the next thing. If you suffer a loss, if a mistake is made that causes an epic amount of damage within your process, within what it is you're setting out to accomplish, if you make a misstep, have the same level of reaction. That's unfortunate. Oh, where there's a will, there's a way, as they say. Nothing's set in stone. Things can always change. That's usually my attitude. Okay, nothing is forever, right? Life is more dynamic than that. That's why you can't live in binary world. That's why it can't be either this or that all the time because things change. This becomes that and that becomes this. You're never the same person all the time. You're never sad all the time. You're never happy all the time. You're never angry all the time. Things change. And so, as much as the good times can go to bad, the bad times can go to good. Let that bring some level of reassurance to you when things are looking down. Yeah, I'm talking head again today, hockey. By the way, again, for those who don't already know, there is a link in the description below that you can click on right now in order to enroll in the Character Creator Workshop. It's a new interactive, intensive learning program that I've just opened. There's only 4 spots left, however, so if it sounds like something that's interesting to you, then don't hesitate. Don't sit on it too long. Just jump in there. The worst that can happen is that you get a free workshop because I'm giving you a 30-day money back guarantee. You just ask for your money back if it's not what you thought it was. And if it's not what you thought it was, I don't want to keep your money anyway. So I'll give it back to you straight away. Transfer it in a click of a button. So you got nothing to lose by jumping into this character creator workshop. It's going to show you the fundamentals, anatomy, proportions, placement, pose, how to construct a character from the ground up, make sure that they have a sturdy foundation ready for the design to be layered over the top. And that's what we get into on day 2. We actually take the thumbnail sketches that you come up with on day 1, the different character designs that stand out the most to you, that you feel will be the most memorable, and we actually realize them. We bring them to life with clean cut line art, with intricate detail, and just a general polish that will bring your character up to the level that it needs to be in order to stand out amid the rest when you show off your portfolio to a potential client, when you post it online, when you create a comic book that you actually want to sell. Okay, comic books need to look good. They are a visual storytelling medium. The visuals matter. And so if you want your characters to attract people's attention, to appear desirable and aesthetically pleasing, then I believe that this is the workshop that's going to help you to get there in the fastest amount of time, because I've left out the best part here. And the best part is that I'm going to be working with you right there. I'll be looking over your shoulder. In fact, there's an entire day 3 where I'm looking at your characters, I'm giving you draw overs, giving you critiques, finding the exact areas within your work that you can invest time in to see the greatest leaps in improvement. Now, how often do you get that opportunity? Very, very rare. You're not going to get it from a course or a book. You could post your work online. These days, social media is absolutely oversaturated. So, even for someone like me who has a following, I get very few comments on my art, even if I'm asking for advice. You could reach out and message an artist that you admire who does the kind of work that you want to do, and you could ask them for some feedback. Sometimes I'll see the message, sometimes they won't, but even when they do get back to you, it's not going to be anywhere near the level of in depth critique, advice, and tips that I'm going to be giving you in this workshop. Okay, I'm going to actually be giving you the time of day, sitting down with you. In fact, I'm not going to let you leave until you get it, until you know exactly what needs to be worked on and to take it to the next level. So that after you finish the workshop, you've got the roadmap laid out before you. You can keep on progressing, that the workshop continues onward for you even after it's officially done. Especially because you're going to get access to the How to Draw Comics in a Circle. You'll be able to host your artwork there. And not only will you get feedback then from me in the How to Draw Comics Inner Circle Facebook group, but you also get it from an extremely motivated group of fellow artists who are all there for the same reason you're there, to upgrade their skill set, be the very best artists that they can be, and draw drawings that are the epitome of what they can possibly produce. That sounds good to you. If drawing great looking characters matters on any level to you as a comic book artist, this is something that's worth looking into. It's something that's worth clicking on. It's just a click. It's not a big ask. Just click on it, look at it. If it's not your thing, doesn't matter. Nothing gained, nothing lost. But if it is your thing, and it's something that would make a significant difference to your development as an artist, that would shortcut your learning curve to a great degree and allow you to fast forward months, maybe years of learning, so that you were able to draw the kind of characters that you always dreamed of drawing way sooner than you would have, then it's going to be a significant loss if you miss out on this thing. Again, there's only 4 spots left. You're also getting it at a 50% discount and 3 special bonuses. So jump in there. It's a killer offer. And once it goes away, there's a good chance I'm going to run the workshop again at a later point. I just don't know when. I just don't know. Maybe Maybe I won't run it again for a long time. There's lots of different workshops that I want to do. So if characters is something, a topic that you want to get into, get deep on, then this is your chance. This is the opportunity that you've been waiting for. If you do put it off now and you let it pass you by, you got to ask yourself, where are you going to be a week or two from now? Where are you going to be a few months from now? Are you going to have made as much progress as you would have if you invested into this character creation workshop, if you invested into that which you are most passionate about in this life, your comic book art, your craft? Only you can answer that question. The link is in the description below, pinned to the comment. It's right there for you. That is the as much as I can possibly do besides inform you on exactly what's in this. So click on the link, check out what it's all about. You're going to love it. Yeah, sit there like a dog. Of course, hockey. Yeah. Oh, wow. There's a lot of comments that have happened. I appreciate all the comments, guys. Thank you so much. I'm truly grateful for you tuning in today. It's amazing. All right, let's see some questions here. John D. Voice says, if your comic book hero wouldn't quit at the first sign of adversity, then you shouldn't either. Be as persistent and resilient as your comic book heroes. Heck yes. Everybody loves a hero. But do you think their job is difficult? Of course it is. Man, this is why I love Dragon Ball Z so much, right? I know that some of you, most of you probably aren't Dragon Ball Z fans, but when you see the hardcore brutality that Goku goes through when he's going up against those villains, the pummeling he cops, but then he keeps on going. He keeps on stepping up for his friends, for his family, for the world. And that's admirable. I mean, if he can do that, then you can certainly spend 5 minutes doing some drawing. And you have to ask yourself as well, what else is there that's more valuable than that? What are you going to get out of watching a TV show or a movie? I love TV shows and movies, by the way. They're amazing, and I get a lot out of them. I get inspiration from my comic books, and I get ideas for the kind of shots that I can choose for my paneling. In fact, one of the reasons as to why I'm good at laying out comic book pages is because of all the movies I've watched and my secret little passion to someday create and direct my own movie. But if you're not getting that out of watching a movie, if you're watching it purely for entertainment purposes, then you got to ask yourself whether or not it's worth your time. Because your life is ticking by. You realize this, your life is ticking by moment to moment. There's time that's slipping away that you'll never get back. What are you doing during that time? How have you spent it? You could do anything with that time, anything at all. Just imagine what you could do with it. This is why, if you're looking at an amazing artist and sitting there thinking, damn, that just pisses me off. Pisses me off that they're so good and I'm so far from that. You have no excuses, my friend. They paid their dues. They put in the work. They have worked as hard as you and harder. What have you done to earn that level of ability? What have you sacrificed? Did you sacrifice the video game? Did you sacrifice the social media and all the time you wasted on that? Did you sacrifice your laziness and apathy? Okay, remember this. This is one thing that I heard from a concept artist named Fang Zhu. You can actually check out his channel on YouTube. And I'll never forget what he said. He said, while you're sleeping, there's people out there that are more motivated than you that are working. They're working, getting better, improving their abilities while you're asleep. Okay, they're murdering themselves to get to an elite level. If you're only working on your comic book or honing your craft for 8 hours a day and they're working 16 hours to hone their craft, they're going to get twice as good in you as they're going to get twice as good as you in the same amount of time. They'll be progressing, learning at 2 times the speed. You have to figure out who you are. Are you the guy that's committed, that is that committed? Are you the guy that's going to work for 16 hours a day? Or are you the dude that does your 8 hours, if that, it's probably more like 4 hours for most people, and then throw the rest of that time, that valuable, precious time that is slipping away that you'll never get back to the wind? Man, crazy, right? This introspection that we go through. I know that I go through it, and it sets my mind straight. I can tell you, it wakes me up. It sobers me up. I hope that it does the same for you. That's why I bring it up. I'm not trying to lecture anybody here. I'm not trying to wave my finger at somebody, but I'm trying to bring this stuff to your attention so that you're thinking about it after this stream is done. So that as you're going to bed tonight, or as you're just chilling out, this is in the back of your mind and you're contemplating it. I want you to think about it. I want you to be aware of it, because part of the problem is the reason why we miss these opportunities. The reason why we miss the opportunity to fulfill our dreams in life is because we don't think about this stuff enough. We're not conscious of it. That is why it's so insidious, because it's beyond our awareness. If we're not consciously considering the time we have, what we do with it, and what will happen if we don't use it wisely. Melanated Thinker says, this is the perspectives I needed. Great to hear it. Very pleased to hear that. For Lucard says, how do you spell the guy's name so I can look up his YouTube channel? Fengzhu, I believe it's Fengzhu. He runs the FZD School of Design in Singapore. Quite famous. I learned a lot of stuff from him back when I was doing the concept art thing, I can tell you that. Lots of mindset little tips that he offers, that he gives to his students. Crazy Mad says, why doesn't Corey ever stream? I miss him. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. Hockey says, okay, I'm going to disagree with the staying up thing. We learn while we sleep. It allows our brains to process the information and organize it. That's what they say, Hockey. But on a serious note, of course. Of course. But how does that explain Elon Musk? That's what I want to know. This genius man who thinks about things on a whole other level, who never sleeps. I wonder. Think about this, right? And this is just a little, I don't know if it's true. I have no idea. This is pure speculation, so take it with a grain of salt. When you stay up really late and you don't sleep, a few different things happen. One, your cortisol goes up. That means your awareness goes up. Cortisol is a stress hormone, a fear response hormone that makes you significantly more aware. And so you're going to be very tuned in to everything when you're in that state. That's why sometimes when you stay up too far past your bedtime, you all of a sudden get more awake. So your cortisol goes up. Stress hormone, not necessarily a good thing for you, by the way. It can be taxing on the system, but cortisol goes up, and then you get a hit of adrenaline too. Because if you're not going to sleep, your body's like, oh, damn, well, I guess I'm supposed to be awake. So better give myself that little hit of adrenaline to keep on chugging. Boom, awareness, upgraded even higher. Now, when you're operating on that level of awareness, one could argue that you're actually taking in a higher level of information just because of the potency of your attention span at that point. Maybe not your attention span, but definitely awareness and your attention span. It's weird. There have been times, right, when I've stayed up late and it feels like I'm on a drug or something. Feels like I've taken Adderall and I'm just so focused and so honed in on what it is I'm doing. And the weird part is that I wake up feeling the same way. It's like it keeps on going. Could be too much coffee. That could be the problem. But cortisol and adrenaline are going to increase the quality of your awareness, which is quite interesting to me. And you don't even have to stay up hockey. You just have to work 16 hours a day. You still get plenty of sleep if you've scheduled everything out around it. Uh, but look, I tell you what, work 4 hours a day first, solidly on a singular activity that really matters to you, and you'll be ahead of the game far more than most. I can tell you that. Hockey says, okay, I find the opposite. I cannot function. My brain is slower and sluggish. Sometimes that's because you haven't stayed up long enough. When you're really working on something that is exciting and that's really getting your getting your inspiration happening, it, I mean, you'll just get a hit of adrenaline from that. You'll be full of you'll be getting dopamine released, and you'll feel great. Um, Staying up and working on something, if you're not used to it, if you've got a fairly fixed sleep schedule, I've found that I've actually got to force myself. Got to force myself to stay up before that. Before my biology flips and adapts to that new routine. But you can still burn yourself out. So, as I said before, hockey brings up a really good point. In reality, this stuff can lead to burnout if you're burning the candle at both ends for too long. And it's pretty hard to come back from. I watched a Barton Bros video, so I did that. I did something yesterday. Cool. Crazy Mad says, I was told by a great artist painting is just pushing colored goo around with a horsehair on a stick until it resembles something. It's a nice way to think about it, and probably a healthy way to think about it, to be honest with you, because it really is. Sometimes um, thinking in that way can allow you a healthy level of detachment from what it is you're doing. And, if you're too in it, if you're too associated with it, and your sense of validity is all wrapped up within the quality of the work that you're doing, or the quality of the work that you think you should be doing, it can throw you off track in a big way. It can mess with your psychology. And psychology is an important aspect of being a good artist. You wouldn't think it, but my goodness, it is. We'll talk about that in another stream, though. We'll get into it. Godspeed says, I've been drawing for the past 3.5 years, the first two just drawing whatever. It wasn't until last year that I decided to learn everything and started making my own stuff. I'm getting really far. Yeah, that's so awesome to hear. Wow, it seems like you guys are really connecting with this stuff. I'm pleased to hear that. I want to give you things that are going to be valuable to you, that are going to help you out on your comic art journey, that are going to help you to get to where you're going quicker than you otherwise would, or at least give you the tools to be able to do it. So, really appreciate the feedback here and the comments, the questions. It's great stuff. Nicholas says, what happened to me? I didn't know what to draw when I found motivation watching art videos, and 2 to 3 hours later, I finished a piece. It was satisfying. Yes. Yes. Sorry, that happened to me. Yeah, that happened to me. That's what happens. That is what happens. Let's take a look here. Michael E. Pitchard says, "Yeah, but if one of those viewers is Mark Silvestri, I'd probably start erasing a brand new sheet of paper." Yeah, totally, totally. But it also might help you to perform at a much higher level. I mean, you're definitely going to show up if Mark Silvestri's there. I remember when I was teaching at university, it was no big deal teaching in front of others, in front of students. But then when I had to go for my teaching qualification, because I was teaching unqualified for some reason for like half a decade, and then they eventually made me get it. And the course that I had to go to required us to create a lesson that we would teach to other teachers. And boy, I can tell you that was nerve wracking. In fact, my leg was shaking uncontrollably up in front of the classroom as I was looking at the other teachers trying to, you know, impart whatever wisdom and knowledge I was trying to impart onto them. So that was scary stuff. That was scary stuff. You know, people you respect when you're trying to perform in front of them, it can be paralyzing, give you the jitters, literally. Okay, well, I must bid farewell to everyone at this point in time. Silky says, "Hello, I really enjoy your art a lot and it has inspired me. Question: how do I draw without getting frustrated? Each time I start a piece, I end up getting stuck and feel stressed. How do I fix this?" You know what? If I wasn't about to head out, I would do a stream that was twice as long to answer that question. And to be honest with you, I might even make it the topic of the next stream because this is a big question that requires a worthy answer, because all of us face this. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make that the very next stream. I won't be streaming that tomorrow, but I will the day after, and we'll talk about that topic in depth. Okay. But just to give you something to take away right now, um, embrace, embrace whatever it is that's making you feel frustrated. If you don't see the issues that your drawing is having, the things that you need to constantly erase, if it's just not going in the direction, if you don't see that as having value, then it's just going to be annoying. It's going to be something that you wish wasn't happening, wasn't there. But if you instead flip that and understand that it genuinely is going to lead you to a better outcome for your art, every single thing you erase, every single thing that doesn't work out gives you the opportunity to get close to the ideal outcome that you're looking for, whatever it is you're illustrating, that you're looking for whatever it is you're illustrating. Then all of a sudden, it's not so frustrating. All of a sudden, it's kind of a good thing. Also, appreciate that you can see your mistakes in the first place. The reason that artists on a higher level of proness can arguably make more mistakes is because they're noticing them and they're fixing them on the fly. Now, at a certain point, they do that so much that they don't even see them as mistakes anymore. They just see them as the process, part of the process. And the other thing I would say is don't attach too much emotion to the mishaps that happen within your art along its journey to realization. Don't put too much emphasis on anything, on your successes or on the losses. Understand that it's just part of the process. You know the process, you're going through the process, you're going to do the process for as long as it takes for the artwork to be completed. So you just got to do your job. You just got to play your role in that process. As is the topic of this video, take your feelings out of the equation if something's frustrating you too much. take a break, go for a walk, clear your head, come back to it later on. And I can promise you, you're going to very likely feel differently about it. You might feel more optimistic. You might feel more discouraged, depending on how things are traveling. But nonetheless, just understand, and this is the truth. This is the truth of the matter. If you know how to use your mistakes rather than see them as frustrations, they're going to lead your art to a better form, a more perfect form. The mistakes that you're noticing, the issues that you're having, that's your intuition kicking in. That's your eye telling you that, hey, this could be better, or this isn't quite working. Not everybody has the ability to do that, especially not beginners. Treasure it, appreciate it. Because as you get better and better at this stuff, as you reach ever greater heights, you're going to find that you start picking up on more minute issues within your art and attending to them. That's part of getting better. It means your artistic intuition is firing up. Something to consider and take note of. And again, we'll get into this in far more depth in the next stream. This is a really good topic. And if you have got any other suggestions for topics, by the way, leave them in the comments of this stream. And while I'm mentioning that, please do hit like on the stream. It's going to allow more people to see the pearls of wisdom, to hear of them, and hopefully use them in order to get themselves out of whatever rut they might be experiencing right now with their art and create more of what they love. Live up to their passions in life without getting stuck in a cycle of procrastination, laziness, and just, not caring about the very thing that they should care the most about. Okay, so share this on your social media, share it with your art friends that you feel would get value out of this. And what artist wouldn't get value out of this particular topic today? Because it's something that we all face. We face this issue of procrastination. It's one of the everlasting battles that we're always going to have to somehow bear and surpass as we continue onward, as we continue creating. It's something that we've got to live with as artists. So if you found this video valuable for that reason, then it's very likely other artists out there are also going to find it valuable and they're going to appreciate you for sharing it with them. So please do. And if you'd like to see more of these live streams, then hit subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. And finally, and this is the most important point, if you're interested in drawing comic book characters and being good at it, if you feel like the ability you have at this point of time in that area isn't quite where you want it to be, then hit the link in the description below, because what you're going to have access to there is an opportunity to be a part of my brand new character creator workshop. There's 4 spots left. It's going to take you through the fundamentals, proportions, anatomy, posing, placement. It's going to show you how to design a kick-ass character that's memorable, that leaves an impression that stands out from the crowd. And it's also going to teach you how to create from start to finish a polished, professional looking comic book character concept. So I'm going to show you exactly how I execute slick, sharp, energetic, and streamlined line work for the contours of your character, how to add in the details and polish up the presentation so that it's fit for posting on social media, showing to other people, or just presenting it in a portfolio, and gives you the skills to draw characters for your own comic books on a level that is going to attract people to your work in a way that's going to make them want to buy your comic book. It's all about the visuals, and characters as the primary storytelling vehicle in any comic book. So you want to be good at drawing them, right? You want to get this down. That sounds good to you. And you like personalized feedback, direction, and guidance on top of that. This is your opportunity. 4 spots left. Get into the Character Creator Workshop today for 50% off. Get the additional bonuses on top of it, and you're not going to regret it. Even if you do regret it, there's a 30-day money back guarantee. So you can just simply ask me for your money back if it's not what you expected, and I'll send it right back through to you. You got nothing to lose here. I'm taking all the risk and all the excuses away from you if you want to truly level up your character creating abilities. If you want to level up your ability to draw characters, this is what you need to invest in. And if there is nothing better to invest in, you know this, nothing better to invest in than your passions. Okay. Again, appreciate all the questions. Amazing. And hey, even if you're not going to jump into the character creator workshop today, what I'd highly suggest you do, because I am putting together other workshops that you're absolutely going to love, including a sequential storytelling workshop. I know that's something that, I mean, I can't think of a single workshop or maybe even a course out there that goes through that. So I'm going to be sharing all of my secrets, all my approaches to creating sequential art in that workshop. Going to do a backgrounds workshop, going to do a fundamentals workshop. And here's the thing, you may or may not hear about them, but you'll definitely hear about them if you're on the howtodrawcomics.net email list. So there's another link in the description that takes you to howtodrawcomics.net. Over on the site, you'll find a bunch of free tutorials, videos, the podcast, and you'll also see some premium courses there by myself and other instructors. But most importantly, what I want you to do is sign up for free to the email list, because it's going to mean, if you're on that, that you are the first to hear about the special promotions that I do, the special deals. You'll hear about new release tutorials and courses and that kind of thing. You're going to be kept in the loop with what it is that's happening with howtodrawcomics.net. And as I've said before, some of these workshops, they sell out very, very quickly. In fact, the Heads workshop, when I first originally ran it, the first version of it, no one even knew about it because I only promoted it to the list. And the reason that I only promoted it to the email list is because it filled up straight away. I didn't get a chance to release it to the public. So, and that was multiple times around. So that's why you need to be on that email list. It costs you nothing to sign up. I've got some little treats, some little gifts that I give you just for signing up. And yeah, there's no reason why you shouldn't if you love drawing comic books like I do. So I want to give you a thank you and as much appreciation as I possibly can for joining me today on the How to Draw Comics live stream. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope that you leave here feeling inspired and in no doubt as to what you need to do next when it comes to finally getting to work on that comic book project or illustration that you've been putting off. Until next time, my friends. Keep on drawing, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye bye for now.